What happened to our little thing? It's somewhere.
I don't know where that thing is.
Typical of the Spania household.
Okay, so we're back, Vera. And today, this afternoon,
Yes.
we have a
Stack of dreams. A stack of dreams to go through.
Yes.
And if you guys have any, we can try to get to those too.
Yes.
Or you can save them for the dream class, which we're going to have eventually soon.
I think it's in September.
Oh, we do have one?
Dreamweaver. It's called Dreamweaver.
Oh, cool. We have one.
Yes. It is coming up. And it is... I thought it was coming up. Well,
It's
anyway,
sometime this year.
It's going to be on our website, selovesyou.com.
Awesome.
So you can always check out everything that we talk about, the art, the past lives and readings and all the information.
Oh, we're having a candlelight
at
chat.
selovesyou.com. Yes, this is our candlelight chat, thus the candle.
Even though it isn't dark out there.
Okay, so Vera, which dream would we like to discuss first?
Well, it's a deep subject. But we can start with Sammy's because hers is really long.
All right. Do you want me to read it or would you like to read it?
No, sure, but kind of read it fast.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Yay, our friends are joining us.
Yay, hi Stephanie. Hi Lori.
I'm just going to start
We didn't
reading.
think anybody was coming.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, so this dream's from Sammy, and her dream is, at first I dreamt that Carl was coming to visit me like he used to in real life back in 2019. But then Carl changed into the sailor man from a different time period with longish light brown hair. It appeared kind of messy, like he brushed it and took care of it. But it couldn't be helped. Average features and average height. I think he was wearing white tights and shorts with a long sleeved, thick looking brown coat, and I changed clothes too. So did everything around us. I was in a long sleeve, long brown high neck dress, and I was melancholy for some reason.
Hi, Eric.
I was laying in bed, refusing to move, and Carl came and laid with his arms around me. I got up eventually. I also had to do a lot of laundry, it seemed like. I kind of felt like that wasn't my responsibility, but I'm not sure. There was a huge pile of it, and these little kids expected me to do theirs. And I told them no, and how I'll do to Carl's only, and I was going out today with him. Everyone kept calling Carl my lord, except for me. Then Carl took me outside, and I followed him somewhere, and everything was wooden and very old looking. We went up narrow wooden flights of stairs. It was then that I noticed Carl's old-fashioned clothes. I didn't appear to care for his appearance, and I looked away from him as I followed him up one flight of narrow, sharp stairs after another. Up and up we went. Looked like sea air was to the left of me, and to the left, and then to my right was solid.
To the left.
Was solid
to the right.
wood.
To the right.
Was solid wood. We reached somewhere where he stood outside a big wooden door, and he said so, and so that I knew was behind that door, and how he has suffered a horrible accident. Oh, I see what she's saying. That so-and-so is behind the door, and she knew that he suffered a horrible accident and doesn't look how he used to look. Okay. So Carl seemed very concerned and worried about this, and my reaction, almost like what was behind that door, was now a wild animal. He told the man behind the door that he's here and has brought me, and he's brought food. Then suddenly Carl handed me the food to give the man, and I had no idea Carl had even been carrying it. When the door opened, a man in similar clothes to Carl was there, but just brighter in color and maybe a different material. His looked blue velvet, and an old-fashioned looking hand-tied tie around his neck and crisp white shirt. Looked at me from the side. He seemed so happy to see me, and my heart and my heart caught at how handsome he was with his thick, short, almost black shiny hair and bold eyebrow and eye. And perfect face. I was thinking how he looks fine. Then he turned slightly, and the other side of his face, something happened, and I wondered if it happened to his body too. I tried not to stare, and I acted like nothing was wrong with his features, and I didn't speak a word or ask any questions. It seemed like maybe something terrible had happened to his body, but he was so happy to see me, and he was hungry too. And I handed him this expertly wrapped food that whoever wrapped it was amazing. Never seen food wrapped like that before, even in the movies. It was wrapped so it wouldn't leak or spill, and it was pretty wrapped too, like an octagon shape. And then the dream ended as I stared at him and him at the wrapped food, that was now in his hands. That was easy for me to say. So, Vera, I would love to hear about Sammy's dream.
Okay, so what I got was, Sammy, this is a past life dream, but with metaphors along the way for you in this lifetime. So the man behind the door was the house butler. So what happened was, I'll tell you later. Carl was your husband, and he was a merchant seaman. He owned a whole fleet of ships and stuff, and I guess it's trade, I guess what they did, kind of thing. And you guys are very wealthy. That's why everyone called him my lord and all that stuff. You were really much younger than him. He was hardly ever home, but he ran the house like he ran his fleet. Like everything had to be in its place. If things were not clean, there would be hell to pay, right? So everything had to be just so, or people were in trouble. Now, you talked about laundry, that there was a ton of laundry to do. Well, there was a ton of laundry for your staff to do, and you were just like going, oh my God, look at all this laundry. So there's a lot of stuff that needed to be cleaned up from that past life. So that's where that comes from.
Gosh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So, the way things were back then, the way you were treated back then, the way you were acting back then too. So the kids were yours, and you were trying to teach them responsibility. Was there anything else I had to say first? Well, you know how you were going up the steps to go to visit the butler? Well, that's just, there's something else on that one. That's your spirituality rising. So from that experience that you had and how you're interpreting it today, that's what you got. It's your spirituality is rising. And the food stuff that you talked about is her hunger for being a sponge and wanting
spiritual thirst.
Yeah. And then
that's cool.
And then sometimes when you're ascending spirituality, when we're rising, we're ascending, it's painful sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's that. It could feel like a wild animal. That you're trying to tame, right? Yeah. Because your emotions and the way you're thinking about how life is now changes. Right. So you get all this energy, this pent up. Remember, sometimes I tell you guys I feel like a caged animal?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that. Okay, so then there is, you're teaching the kids responsibility, which I don't know why, because your staff did the laundry. So I don't know if they didn't stack it correctly or whatever, but really that message was cleaning house in your life now, cleaning everything up.
I love this symbology there.
Yeah,
isn't that cool?
And you really weren't in tune with the children because you didn't raise them. You had staff to raise them. They were just like, oh, nice kids. Oh, you're cute, kind of thing. But you hated your life. Oh. She hated her life.
She's like, I'm over it, man.
Well, that's why it was like she was in bed and she was just not moving. And then he had his arms around her.
No wonder she felt melancholy.
Yeah, she did not. And then she didn't want, if she moved, she felt like if she moved, she was going to have sex with him. Right?
She's like,
Yeah. So she hated her life. You were a voracious writer in that lifetime. You loved to write. And Carl wouldn't have it. That's not what women did. You're my wife. You keep the house. You take care of the kids.
No, Carl.
Well, that's what she's working out now, right? Okay, so you had to sneak around to do and the butler was helping you kind of sneak around, right?
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
She was like so excited to see
He loved her.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with her. Mm-hmm. So, Carl had you think that there was an accident. He actually threw, I don't know, I guess it would be lye or something like an acid in his face.
What?
Yeah, because he was getting because he had moles all over the house. People would think on each other.
He did it on purpose?
Yeah.
Did the butler know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But he had put him somewhere because he was like,
oh my gosh.
Horrific. Go.
Is the butler going to be in her life this lifetime?
He might.
Okay. That's cool.
So, so he was taking you up there because you kept asking about the butler, asking where he is. And you weren't in love with him. You were in love with writing. That's all you cared about. But you loved him as not an accomplice. How would you say it? As
like
someone
like a true friend.
Yeah, a true friend. That's what you had with him. And he would never do anything to disrespect you. But Carl found out from the staff that he was in love with you.
Oh, no. Did she know?
And he is very handsome. And Carl wasn't. And Carl was older. So he was afraid that she was going to take off with him. So, but she never would. It was that was the culture, right? You stuck with what cards you were dealt kind of thing.
I want a new hand.
Yeah.
Deal me back in the hand.
Yeah. So that's why he took you up there, because you kept asking, and he was just trying to tell you, look what I'm doing for him. I'm feeding him. I'm taking care of him, because he's so horrific and ugly. And
that's so mean.
Yeah.
And did she know that that's how he got disfigured?
Eventually. Yeah. But that's what that was all about. So he really didn't do this out of kindness or anything like that. It was just, he was worried about your reaction. And as mean and as challenging as he was to be around, he loved Sammy. I mean, to the point where, loved in the only way he knew how to love. And it was more like you were his possession.
Right. It sounds like total control.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the octagon, the way you said it was an octagon shaped, how it was wrapped or something.
Yeah.
Well, octagon is renewal, rebirth, spiritual nourishment.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's
it's spiritual nourishment that was in that octagon.
And you know what's so awesome? That in this life, that Sammy can explore like whatever she wants to do, like her writing or whatever things that she wants to do without any control.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so awesome. She gets to have that experience in this time.
Yeah. So that was really a cool one.
Wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
And talk about details. There's a lot of details there.
I know, I need energy too.
You know what was cool?
What?
Is that when you were reading her dream, you said that you visualized the white tights and the white shorts.
Yeah, I already saw what he looked like before she said it.
Yeah, before you read that part. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then you see how he was, the butler was dressed very nicely in velvet and all that. That was just so she could see him. He was treated like he was a prisoner. And Carl didn't want the guy out, because then he would tell him what he did, kind of stuff.
Well, I hope that,
Yeah.
I just hope that he has a chance to be in this life where they can reconnect and have a friendship or whatever type of relationship.
Well, Carl's in her life in this life.
I know, but I'm mad at him right now.
Yes, Carl is in this life with her in this lifetime too. Yeah. So there you go, Sammy.
Wow, that's really good.
And you had I think 8 children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we have more dream. Do we have time for another dream?
Well,
What time did we start?
it's been
3.
about 17 minutes.
Sure.
I think so. Okay, which one do you want to do, Vera? Do you want to do the one with...
Which one do you want done? Because you have 2.
I want you to choose.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because...
I don't remember the other one.
Well, there was one with Sylvia in it, and we were setting up for that lecture, and then there was one with the little puppy
Raw
and
hamburger.
my mom.
So we'll do Sylvia first, and then we'll do the other one.
Okay, let me grab it. Okay, so I've been dreaming lately. It's been a lot of fun. It's always interesting to hear Vera's take on it, because you never know what she's going to say. You might think it's one thing and it's something else. Okay, so I had this dream that Vera and I were in a big empty room, and we were trying to figure out how we were going to have a class, and there was like these yoga mats in there. Not that we're going to teach yoga, just in, dreams are. And then there was this young man helping us. He was a cute young man, and he was trying to help us figure out how to set up all the mats. And he had dark hair, remember that? He was fair, and he was like so helpful. And then he was saying that this one last mat, you might not want to put it that way because they might feel left out. They wouldn't be able to see the teacher. And then Sylvia was coming, and she went into this little side room right next to the big room, and it had like a bed on it, like a little bedroom. And she was in there with Linda, that was her personal assistant, and somebody else. And I was still in the big room trying to get it ready for this gathering. And she could hear me, and she didn't know who I was. So Vera was talking to her and telling her, "It's Chrissy." And I peeked around the corner so that she would see me and she'd believe me, believe you, because it was almost like, I don't want to say suspicious, but it was almost like she was having issues. I don't want to say dementia, but it's like she was kind of like past her prime, maybe like was having a hard time connecting. And then that's when I woke up. It's not as exciting as the guy in the stairs, but
yeah. No, but this is more of like you working out issues in our current lifetime in terms of we've been talking about, hopefully soon we can have in-person gatherings.
Yeah.
So you're already getting it ready, which you tend to do.
Yeah, I do that ahead of time.
I'll tell Chrissy something, or Angus will tell Chrissy something about a future event, and she's already like,
we can do this, and we got to do that, and we got to get ready.
Yeah. So it was really working out what we're going to be doing, and then we'd been talking to who about spiritual gatherings? I mean, not spiritual gatherings, but events. TAC.
Oh, right. Yes.
And he showed us this really amazing garden in San Francisco.
Oh, my gosh. That's right.
Remember?
Yes.
So so the person that was helping us was really TAC.
That's amazing.
Right? And then he has this attention to detail.
Yeah.
Because he's so creative.
True. Right.
Yeah. So he knew like where to put people. So you're showing that we're having people join us.
Oh,
to help us further the mission.
Oh,
isn't that cool?
That's cool. I get okay.
But our foundation is
with Sylvia.
Yeah. So she's still in the other room.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
She's still in the other room. And then she didn't know you, right?
Right.
But it's not so much dementia. You're working out. She didn't know you.
Oh my.
She didn't know your soul. She didn't know you.
No, she didn't. Mm-mm. It's so fascinating. She totally didn't see that.
That's what you're working out.
That is super cool.
And then you're giving her the out that she's older and she's got dementia, so that's why she doesn't.
So it's
know
okay,
you.
Yeah. It's okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Dreams are
neat?
so fun.
They are because it's like you have this totally different, take on them.
Exactly.
That's neat. Sometimes when we're close to situations, we don't see it.
That's two heads are better than one, especially with dreams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you never know.
Exactly.
What weird things our mind will think of. Like, I'm not going to say, I was going to go to the ground beef thing, but I won't.
You can.
Should we?
Yeah.
All right. You guys want one more?
We can do one more, or we can say, we love you and journey with us. Yeah. We'll wait. The first one that says it gets it.
Okay.
Because even if they say no and it's only one person, we're going, okay, we love you.
Yeah. All right.
We know it's summer and we know people want to be outside, so.
4th of July weekend, which is very exciting. We hope you have a very fun, safe, yeah.
Don't use firecrackers.
Yeah. What happened to my younger brother when he was diagnosed with diabetes. And he was only 12. And this happened when I think he was like 14 or something. He went to the park with his friends on July 4th, and one of them threw a whole batch of firecrackers into his shoe. And he had no socks on. They were high tops tennis shoes. And he started dancing. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
He was dancing around trying to get it out. And then meanwhile, he comes home. There was like his foot was so badly burned. The flesh was totally burned off.
That's awful.
It was
It's
I was
not
like
even fun.
freaking out.
Yeah.
Freaking out because he's diabetic and they can lose their limbs very easily.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was kind of upset with me because I'm like, I told mom and dad he didn't want me to, right?
Oh,
but
well, too bad.
Yeah, because it saved his foot. It was awful. I can't remember dreams anymore. Okay. One more.
Okay, one more. Here we go.
All right.
This one is about your mom?
Yeah, okay. All right. It's kind of weird, you guys. I'm just warning you ahead of time. Very weird. But you never know what dreams may come, right?
I'm going to call it the raw hamburger dream.
All right. Okay, so in my dream, we were on the property where I was raised, right? And it's like this farm property, but it's where my mom lives now. And there was these 4 puppies, and they looked like my puppy when I was a little girl. And they were hiding. They were in a big bowl like this big of raw ground beef, and they got down in there because they were trying to be towards the bottom and they were trying to stay warm. I know, dreams are weird. And there was these big hogs that my mom, when she was a little girl on her farm, she grew up with these massive giant hogs that were very dangerous. She almost got attacked by one once. Anyway, they were eating this ground beef, and these little puppies were trying to stay underneath there, and they were sleeping in there. And then what was next? It was kind of halfway under this shed that my mom's grandchildren used to play in. They called it the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. She doesn't get to see them.
Oh, say that one more time.
This bowl with this whole situation happening was kind of halfway underneath this clubhouse. Mm-hmm. It's a shed that her grandchildren called a clubhouse, and they used to play in it back when she could see her grandchildren. Okay, what's next? And then
I know.
And then the next part, she was waitressing.
It's a true story too.
What?
Eric said, "What dreams may come."
Oh, well. Anyway, and then she was waitressing, and she was wearing this outfit that was kind of looked like the Well, anyway, she was just waitressing, and she had this empty coffee pot, and she was like almost running, carrying this coffee pot, running and kind of falling from table to table. And then I was like, Mom, I cried out, and I went chasing after her to catch her, and I was going to pick her up and carry her out of there. Mm-hmm. And that was my dream. And it was interesting too. All I was going to say was that her uniform that she was wearing, it looked like the one that I used to wear when I was in Hollywood and when I was in Wisconsin. And those were 2 different times in my life when I was working, like slaving away for these guys in my life at the time that were like using me, right? Yeah. That was the dream.
So, and that's what you're picking up about what your mother's going through right now because of your father's situation.
Right.
And I still don't get the
ground beef part.
The ground beef part, but it's like protection, I think. It's because, your father's kind of representative of the hogs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And then so you're trying to keep away from him, so you're hiding underneath.
Yeah.
So that he can't get to you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you're working on that one. And then I'm still trying to get, I can't remember what I said about the 4 puppies, what they represented. Because you thought it was me, you, Trexler, and Sammy.
I was thinking, because that's what we were
But
working
I
on
said
at the time.
no.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if it was my mom, me, my brother, and maybe you. Because you're so much in my life.
Well, it could be the 4 of you, though. Your mom, your older brother,
my younger brother, and me.
So that could be because at that time they were just puppies, right? They were. You guys were young, in other words.
Right. That's
and the way that
true.
your father was with your mother at that time is what the guys did to you. So you're utilizing that and thinking about that, and then the waitressing thing too is that. Because you've been waitressing and it's so tiring, right? Mm-hmm. So you're getting like your mom is in that tired mode, empty coffee pot, because you mentioned that. And
no energy, because coffee gives us energy.
Mm-hmm. And then she's falling down, and it's like she just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what you're afraid that she's going to just fall down.
I see.
And not be able to get up.
Oh, so making me sweat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so that's that on that one. That was pretty heavy.
It was, yeah. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I couldn't figure it out because I thought maybe it was us 4 in our business together,
Yeah.
or
But this is more about you guys family-wise.
yeah, because I was thinking, how we make up our own family.
Because you didn't
right?
add your father in the 4 because he was the mean old hog.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
growing up, that's how it was. Yeah, you're right.
So it was a 4 against 1. Even though it was 2 against 3, really, eventually.
yeah.
Because your older brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's it. So you're just working that out, and you're just afraid for your mom.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And she won't fall down.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
You won't let that happen.
Yeah. I go in there like what's that movie when the
Now
guy
you
goes
may
in?
fall down because you're rescuing everybody.
Well,
I'm joking. You're not gonna fall down.
no, of course. Yeah, it's just so interesting, Yeah, because I was thinking, maybe it's, the family that we make up, right? Because it's like, we might have our family that we were born with, but then as we go along,
Of course.
we have our family that we have,
For sure.
Our spiritual family, our
Yeah.
soul family.
That's it.
That one's growing. Definitely growing. That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing your time and your light with us. Anything else, Vera, you want to share?
Journey with us.
Yes, and dream on.
Dream on is right. Dream weaver.
Have a
Neat.
great week.